You know, when you're fishing up here in the Northwest Territories, it is the best trout fishing in the world. Doesn't matter whether you fish Great Bear Lake that holds a world record fish or Great Slave Lake. Because the water is so cold here and so deep, most of the time all you have to do is flatline troll with a variety of lures. Most people will use spoons. But sometimes if the lake trout go a little bit deeper, it helps to either add weight to your line or to use a downrigger like Barb and I did. The other thing that you can do is jig fish. If you find fish off a point that are near the bottom, if you're using a portable sonar, you can actually drop a 1 or 2 ounce jig and fish for them right on the bottom. Now, let me give you a couple of tips that have to do with flatlining or with fishing with downriggers. If you're flatlining, it probably means that the fish are near the surface, and one of the most popular spoons is this half-wave spoon, and you can see that it's quite thin, the diameter, okay? So for flatlining, these spoons work really well when you're fishing shallow. If the fish are a little bit deeper, down a maximum of about 15 feet, I would suggest that you go to a heavier spoon, trolling spoon, like this 5 a diamond. This is a devil bait, very common. A lot of them are red and white. This particular one is yellow with red diamonds, okay? So this lure, with the same distance as this light spoon, will go down about 15 feet, where this one might only go down about 5 feet, which is desirable when the lake trout are in shallower water. Now, if you're using downriggers, you should be using either a body bait, like these that I'm holding up, and these are balsa wood, so they float when they're at rest, but when you start to retrieve them, they dive down. The only thing you have to be careful of is that both of these lures will dive down to about 10 or 15 feet. So if you're flatlining with them and the fish are right on the surface, they're going to go a little bit too deep. So these work well at the same time that you would use the heavier spoons. If you're using these baits off a downrigger, it's important to realize that they're going to dive down below the cannonball. So you have to compensate by not going as deep with the cannonball, because these lures will go down sometimes 15 feet below the cannonball. Okay? So if you're using spoons for downrigging, it's very important that you use the thinner spoons, like this half-wave that I'm holding up, because you don't want the spoon to hang down too far below the cannonballs, because then you can get hung up on bottom, even if you're fishing in shallow water.